Welcome to Living Legacy, with Andrew sharing heartfelt tributes to remarkable individuals whose influence continues to live on. This channel celebrates unforgettable names from film, music, sports, and culture, highlighting the passion, achievements, and inspiration they gave the world. Here, every story is a reminder that true greatness never fades, and every legacy continues to speak through time. Moya Brennan, often called the First Lady of Celtic music, was the unforgettable voice that carried Ireland's musical heritage to audiences around the world. Born in County Donegal in 1952, she grew up in the Gaeltacht, surrounded by Gaelic traditions, storytelling, and traditional music. As the eldest of 9 children, she helped form Clannad in 1970, and the group's success with Theme from Harry's Game introduced Irish language music to an international audience. Her haunting vocals became the heart of Clannad's global rise, while her solo career and collaborations with artists like Bono expanded her influence even further. Beyond music, Brennan inspired people through her resilience, faith, and dedication to preserving Celtic culture. She passed away at 73, leaving behind a timeless legacy that continues to define the sound and spirit of Ireland. Doris Marie Brome devoted her life to education, faith, and helping people connect through language. Born in 1926, she moved from the United States to Taiwan as a young missionary and eventually built an influential educational movement. In 1962, she founded Studio Classroom, an English learning program that combined practical lessons with engaging material, helping generations of students develop confidence in the language. Her work expanded beyond education when she founded Heavenly Melody, a pioneering Chinese Christian choir, and later established overseas radio and television, extending her message through media. Brome died in 2024, one day after celebrating her 98th birthday. Although the exact cause of death was not publicly disclosed, her influence remains visible in the students she inspired, the music she helped create, and the educational opportunities she opened for countless people across Asia. Her legacy continues through learning, faith, and service. Justice becomes difficult when every possible choice carries a moral cost. The trolley problem asks whether it is right to sacrifice one person to save 5 others. In one version, people may accept pulling a lever to redirect the trolley, yet hesitate when stopping it requires directly pushing someone onto the track. Similar questions appear in medical ethics, where saving several patients may conflict with protecting one innocent person. The historical case of R.V. Dudley and Stevens also raises questions about survival, necessity, and responsibility. These dilemmas reveal the tension between utilitarianism, which emphasizes outcomes, and Kantian ethics, which focuses on moral duties and principles. Ultimately, justice is not simply about counting lives. It also involves consent, fairness, responsibility, and the difficult question of what makes an action truly right or wrong. Billy Beane was a former Major League Baseball outfielder, whose greatest impact came after his playing career ended. Born in 1964, he played for the Detroit Tigers, Los Angeles Dodgers, and San Diego Padres, along with the Kintetsu Buffaloes in Japan. In 1999, Beane publicly came out as gay, becoming one of the first former MLB players to do so. His courage eventually led to a larger role in baseball's efforts toward inclusion. In 2014, MLB appointed him Ambassador for Inclusion, and he later became a vice president and senior advisor to the commissioner. Beane spent his later years helping create a more welcoming environment throughout the sport. He died after battling ALS. His legacy extends far beyond statistics, remembered for his honesty, courage, and the doors he helped open for others. Goldie Hawn became one of Hollywood's most recognizable symbols of laughter, warmth, and irresistible charm. But the woman behind that famous smile carried a far more complicated story. Born on November 21, 1945, in Washington, D.C., Hawn grew up with an early fascination for dance and performance, disciplines that demanded control, precision, and emotional expression. Long before audiences knew her as an Oscar-winning actress, she was learning how to transform private feelings into public movement. Her breakthrough came with Cactus Flower, where her performance earned her an Academy Award and established her as more than a comic presence. Later, films such as Private Benjamin, Overboard, Death Becomes Her, and The First Wives Club allowed her humor to become something larger. Beneath the laughter were stories about vulnerability, independence, aging, disappointment, and resilience. Han's appeal came from that unusual combination. She could make audiences laugh, while still allowing them to recognize something painfully human beneath the joke. Childhood shadows. Han's childhood was shaped by dance, family expectations, and an intense sensitivity that would influence her personality for decades. Growing up in Washington, she entered the world of ballet and performance at an early age, developing discipline through constant practice. Dance gave her structure, but childhood was not simply a graceful succession of rehearsals and applause. Like many sensitive children, she experienced fears and insecurities that could feel enormous when there was nowhere to place them. As she grew older, performance became a way of transforming those emotions into movement, expression, and eventually comedy. The ability to smile through uncertainty would later become one of her defining characteristics. Audiences would see spontaneity, energy, and brightness, while Han understood how much preparation could exist beneath effortless-looking joy. Her childhood ambitions did not immediately point toward Hollywood superstardom. They began with movement and a desire to perform. Yet those early experiences gave her something invaluable: the ability to communicate emotion without needing to explain every feeling in words. Finding dance. As a young woman, Han followed dance toward New York, where the city offered opportunity but demanded resilience in return. She studied and worked in an environment filled with ambitious performers, each hoping to find a place under the unforgiving lights. Dance required repetition, physical endurance, and the willingness to accept criticism without allowing it to destroy confidence. Han's training helped develop the stage presence that would later make her so magnetic on television and film. But the road was hardly guaranteed. She was not entering an industry designed to protect young performers from rejection. Every audition carried the possibility of disappointment, and every opportunity required her to prove herself again. Instead of abandoning performance when circumstances became difficult, she continued moving forward. Dance eventually led her toward acting and television, where her natural comic instincts began to emerge. She possessed something difficult to manufacture: an ability to appear completely alive in front of an audience. Her movements, expressions, timing, and unmistakable laugh created a presence that could not easily be ignored. Television breakthrough. The turning point arrived when Han became part of Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Suddenly, the young dancer who had spent years learning discipline became a television sensation. Her playful personality, comic timing, physical expressiveness, and distinctive laugh made her immediately memorable. Audiences responded to her because she seemed different from the carefully polished performers surrounding her. There was an almost childlike spontaneity in her presence, but underneath it was a highly disciplined performer who understood exactly how to command attention. The success of Laugh-In transformed her career almost overnight. Hollywood began seeing possibilities beyond television, and Han moved into film at a crucial moment. Her public image suggested uncomplicated happiness, but the reality of sudden fame was more complicated. Recognition brought expectations, scrutiny, and pressure. The more people loved the persona, the more difficult it could become to separate the public character from the private woman. Yet Han used that attention as an opportunity. Instead of remaining trapped inside a television identity, she began building a film career that would eventually prove far more substantial than anyone initially expected. Cactus Flower. In 1969, Han reached a defining moment when she appeared in Cactus Flower. Her performance, as Tony Simmons, revealed a side of her that audiences had not fully understood. She could be funny, vulnerable, emotionally open, and dramatically effective without losing the qualities that made her magnetic. The Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress confirmed that her talent extended well beyond television comedy. At only 23, she had achieved one of Hollywood's most prestigious honors. But the Oscar did not automatically erase the assumptions surrounding her. Because she was associated with youth, beauty, and humor, some observers continued to underestimate the depth of her abilities. Han's career would repeatedly challenge that perception. She understood that laughter could carry emotional weight, and that a comic performance could reveal loneliness, fear, frustration, and desire just as powerfully as conventional drama. Cactus Flower therefore became more than a successful film. It was proof that the woman audiences had first encountered as a bubbly television personality possessed a much deeper artistic range. Private Benjamin. More than a decade later, Han took another major step with Private Benjamin. Released in 1980, the film placed her at the center of a story about a privileged woman who unexpectedly enters military life and discovers independence through hardship. Han did not simply perform the role, she also helped shape the project as a producer. That decision was important because it demonstrated her growing desire for creative control. She was no longer satisfied with being the personality Hollywood placed in front of the camera. She wanted influence over the stories themselves. Private Benjamin became a major commercial success and earned Hawn another Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actress. The film also strengthened her reputation as a performer capable of carrying an entire production. Beneath its comedy were questions about identity, independence, expectations, and the limits society places on women. Hawn understood how to make those themes accessible without sacrificing entertainment. Her laughter became a vehicle for something larger, a woman discovering that she could define herself instead of allowing other people to define her. Beyond the laughs. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Hawn continued creating characters that combined comedy with emotional vulnerability. Overboard became a beloved romantic comedy, while Death Becomes Her allowed her to explore vanity, aging, rivalry, and mortality through outrageous humor. Then came The First Wives Club, a film that became especially significant for its portrayal of women confronting betrayal, rejection, and the fear of being discarded. Hawn shared the screen with Bette Midler and Diane Keaton, creating a trio whose chemistry became central to the film's lasting appeal. The laughter was loud, but the themes underneath it were serious. These women were dealing with the consequences of relationships and social expectations while discovering that their lives were far from finished. That idea resonated with audiences because it reflected something Hawn had understood throughout her career. Comedy does not require the absence of pain. Sometimes humor is strongest precisely because pain exists underneath it. Her greatest performances often worked that way, allowing audiences to laugh while recognizing pieces of themselves inside the characters. The private struggle behind Hawn's public image, however, came the pressure of fame and the ordinary vulnerabilities that celebrity cannot erase. Hawn has spoken publicly over the years about anxiety, fear, therapy, meditation, and the importance of maintaining emotional balance. These experiences helped shape her understanding of mental well-being and eventually influenced her commitment to helping children develop emotional resilience. The contrast between her public image and private experiences became one of the most fascinating parts of her story. On screen, Hawn could make almost any room feel lighter. Off-screen, like anyone else, she faced moments when confidence did not come naturally. Fame could magnify those struggles rather than eliminate them. The public often assumes that people who radiate happiness must possess an endless supply of it. Hawn's life suggests something more complicated. Happiness can be cultivated, protected, and practiced. It can exist alongside fear and uncertainty. Her ability to keep creating joy did not necessarily mean she had never experienced darkness. It meant she learned not to allow difficult emotions to define the entire story. Changing Hollywood. As Hawn moved through middle age, Hollywood's relationship with women became increasingly visible in her career. The industry has often placed enormous value on youth, while treating older actresses as if their stories naturally become less important. Hawn experienced the changing landscape firsthand. Roles became different, opportunities shifted, and the culture around female performers continued to evolve. Yet she refused to measure her worth solely through the number of scripts arriving at her door. Instead, she gradually expanded her identity beyond acting. Her interests in wellness, mindfulness, children's development, and philanthropy became increasingly important. The Hawn Foundation, established in 2003, reflected that broader purpose by focusing on children's emotional well-being and education. This was another chapter in a life that repeatedly moved beyond the expectations others had placed upon her. She had been introduced to audiences as a dancer, discovered as a television comedian, celebrated as an actress, and recognized as a producer. Eventually, she became something else as well, an advocate for helping young people develop the emotional tools necessary to navigate a difficult world. Love and family. Away from the movie set, Hawn's personal life became another enduring part of her public story. Her long relationship with actor Kurt Russell became one of Hollywood's most recognizable partnerships. Rather than presenting their relationship as a perfect fairy tale, the two have often emphasized companionship, independence, affection, and the importance of choosing each other repeatedly. Their blended family also became central to Hawn's life, particularly her role as a mother and grandmother. Watching her children and grandchildren grow gave her a perspective far removed from the urgency of Hollywood fame. The priorities changed. Box office numbers mattered less than family gatherings, meaningful conversations, and the simple passage of time. This evolution helped explain why Hawn gradually stepped away from the constant demands of acting without ever truly disappearing. She had already achieved what many performers spend an entire lifetime chasing. The question was no longer whether she could become famous. It was what she wanted to do with the life that fame had given her. For Hawn, the answer increasingly involved family, wellness, generosity, and purpose. 80 and beyond. In 2026, as Hawn reached the age of 80, the most meaningful way to view her career was not simply through awards, box office figures, or famous movie titles. Her significance came from the emotional connection she built with generations of audiences. She had spent decades demonstrating that laughter could coexist with vulnerability and that strength did not always have to look serious. Her screen presence remained associated with warmth, optimism, and an almost instinctive ability to make people feel less alone. At the same time, her later work away from Hollywood showed that her understanding of happiness had matured beyond performance. She became increasingly interested in the science and practice of emotional well-being, particularly for children. The woman who once made millions laugh had become equally interested in helping people understand why emotional resilience matters. Her journey from Washington dancer to television sensation, Oscar-winning actress, producer, philanthropist, mother, grandmother, and wellness advocate, was never a straight line. It was a long evolution shaped by ambition, uncertainty, reinvention, love, and an enduring belief in the possibility of joy. The legacy Goldie Hawn's legacy ultimately rests on something more durable than celebrity. She changed the way audiences understood the relationship between comedy and vulnerability. She proved that a woman could be glamorous without being superficial, funny without being shallow, and commercially successful without surrendering her individuality. From Cactus Flower to Private Benjamin and the First Wives Club, she repeatedly used laughter to reveal something beneath the surface. Her career also demonstrated the value of reinvention. She did not remain trapped inside the image created for her by early television fame. She moved from dance into comedy, from comedy into dramatic performance, from acting into producing, and eventually from entertainment into advocacy and emotional wellness. That evolution may be the most important part of her story. At 80, the laughter that first made audiences fall in love with her remains recognizable, but it carries the perspective of a woman who has lived through decades of change. Goldie Hawn was never merely Hollywood's cheerful girl. She was a performer, a survivor of uncertainty, a creator, and a woman who spent a lifetime turning difficult experiences into reasons to keep choosing light.